Imagine boarding an airplane so massive it has 2 full passenger decks, can carry over 800 people, and is so quiet that airports had to create new rules just for it. This is not science fiction. This is the Airbus A380, the largest passenger airplane ever built. But here's the crazy part. Despite being one of the most advanced aircraft in aviation history, Airbus actually stopped making it. So what made the A380 so special? Why does this giant have secret features most passengers never notice? And what shocking facts make the Airbus A380 one of the most fascinating planes ever built? Let's find out.
If you're enjoying this so far, do me a quick favor. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support what I do here. Now, let's dive in.
Let's start with the most obvious fact. The Airbus A380 is absolutely enormous. This aircraft is about 73 meters long, with a wingspan of nearly 80 meters. That's wider than many football fields. Standing next to it feels like standing beside a flying building. The A380 was designed to carry around 555 passengers in a standard layout, but in an all-economy configuration, it can carry over 850 people. That makes it the largest passenger airliner ever built in human history. And unlike normal airplanes, the A380 has 2 full-length passenger decks, not just a small upper section like a Boeing 747. It's basically a double-decker aircraft in the sky. Imagine hundreds of people, luggage, cargo, crew, kitchens, bathrooms, electronics, and fuel, all lifted into the air by one machine. That alone makes the A380 an engineering miracle.
One thing people notice immediately. The Airbus A380 has 4 giant engines. In today's aviation world, most airliners use only 2 engines because they're more fuel efficient. So why did Airbus give the A380 4? Simple, because this aircraft is unbelievably heavy. A fully loaded A380 can weigh over 1.2 million pounds at takeoff. That's more than many military aircraft combined. Those massive engines generate enough thrust to lift this giant machine into the sky. And despite its size, pilots often say the A380 feels surprisingly smooth and stable during flight. It's like watching an elephant move like a swan.
Here's a fact most people don't know. The A380's wings were designed to be even bigger than necessary. Why? Because Airbus originally planned future versions of the plane that would be even heavier. These wings are so huge, they create enormous lift and help the plane fly more efficiently. But there's something shocking. During flight, the wings actually bend upward by several meters. That's completely normal. They flex like giant springs to absorb aerodynamic forces. It may look scary from a passenger window, but that flexibility is part of the engineering design. In aviation, strong doesn't mean rigid. Sometimes strong means flexible. You would think the world's biggest passenger jet would be incredibly loud. But surprisingly, the Airbus A380 is one of the quietest large aircraft ever built. Airports even had to measure its noise differently because it produced less sound than expected for its size. Passengers often say takeoff feels smoother and quieter compared to older jumbo jets Airbus used advanced engine technology, noise reduction systems, and special aerodynamic designs to make this happen. So even though it looks like a monster, it behaves like a giant whisper in the sky.
Now here's where things get really surprising. Some Airbus A380s have features you would never expect on an airplane. Depending on the airline, passengers have experienced private suites, onboard showers, cocktail lounges, staircases, bars in the sky. Airlines like Emirates turned the A380 into a luxury flying experience. Imagine taking a shower at 35,000 feet, or sitting in an onboard lounge chatting while crossing an ocean. This wasn't just transportation, it was a flying hotel. That's one reason aviation fans fell in love with the A380.
Here's a shocking fact. Pilots often say the Airbus A380 is easier to fly than people expect. Airbus designed it with highly advanced fly-by-wire computer systems. That means computers help translate pilot inputs into smooth aircraft movements. Even though the A380 is gigantic, the cockpit technology makes it feel surprisingly manageable. Of course, taxiing this giant on the ground is another story. Some airports had to widen taxiways, reinforce pavement, and redesign gates just to handle it. The plane was so large, airports had to adapt to the airplane, not the other way around.
Before the A380 entered service, many airports simply weren't ready. Gates had to be modified, jet bridges had to be redesigned, runways and taxiways needed upgrades. Some airports even installed multiple boarding bridges so hundreds of passengers could board faster. Think about that. One airplane was so big, entire airports changed infrastructure because of it. That's rare in aviation history.
Now here's the biggest surprise of all. Despite being one of the most iconic aircraft ever built, Airbus stopped making the A380. Why? Because airlines changed. Instead of filling one giant plane with hundreds of passengers, airlines preferred smaller, fuel-efficient jets that could fly directly between cities. Aircraft like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 became more practical. The A380 was amazing, but it arrived in a world moving in a different direction. In a way, the plane was too ambitious for its time.
The Airbus A380 remains one of the greatest engineering achievements in aviation history. A double-decker giant, a flying luxury hotel, a machine that forced airports to change, and a plane that proved humans can build something truly extraordinary. Even though production is ended, the legend of the A380 still lives on in the skies. So next time you see one, remember, you're not just looking at an airplane. You're looking at one of the most surprising flying machines ever created.